recording.
Okay. Now we're recording.
Hey.
We're live. Hi, Shelby.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay. So we're here with Shelby Jones with NS Nutrition, and you are in Idaho?
Idaho.
Idaho.
Right.
And how's that going for you in Idaho?
Idaho, every time I see the weather in Michigan, I love Idaho even more.
So warm climate?
Oh yeah. I think it's only been about middle to high 60s, but like I think on Wednesday we're supposed to have 85.
Really?
Better than Michigan. You guys?
Yeah, no, I never. It's 50 today, and I can't wait to go outside. I'm going to go outside in like a Speedo.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I never knew what the climate was going to be like here, but that's what I told you. I was going to get a text message.
I didn't see it, so you're fine.
Okay. It's gorgeous here. Like the weather, it's always sunny, which is something for northern Michigan. I never, not used to that. So that's great.
Yeah, it's very good. We're having a problem with vitamin D here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Is it like that year round, or is it like you get 4 seasons?
We kind of skip over spring.
Oh.
Fall here is beautiful. It's really, really hot until probably October. But then we actually get like a fall. Winter is like December to February, and that is literally it.
Oh, wow.
And by winter I mean it maybe snows, I don't know, 10 times. So it's very mild here. It just depends on the year.
So so the landscape, is it like very? See, my idea of Idaho, and I have
flat.
A couple people so my idea of Idaho is like just flat corn husker kind of, and I don't even know if corn huskers are from Idaho. I don't know.
Yeah,
rain, mountain. Yeah, potatoes.
They're all potatoes. It's different. It depends on how, like, where you're at, north or south. Southern Idaho is very like flat, but also hilly, if that makes sense. And then northern Idaho is apparently just gorgeous. It's like Washington, very, very filled with trees, a lot of mountains. We're kind of like in the middle-ish. So it'll be like a flat valley and then a really nice mountain. So it's
kind of like Arizona.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Well, and you went out there because of your hubby in the Air Force?
Yeah. Yep. He is in the Air Force, which right now I don't love, but
currently deployed and extended, unfortunately.
Yes, we are going on. We're going on month 7, and he was only supposed to be gone for 6 months. So it's been.
Thank you for his service, and thank you for your patience with his service.
Oh, thanks.
That's part too. I mean, I was in the Marine Corps, and for me, it's like you're away from everybody. When you're on deployment, you're away from everybody, but you're doing stuff. So I mean, it depends. Sometimes you're really bored and you want to be home. But and this will segue to what our first thing we're going to talk about is. But your routine there is like pretty set. So you're like, okay, I really want to be home, but you have stuff going on.
Right. Well, I think
you're just like, all right, 6 months, let's go.
Yeah. I think that's what makes right now worse because they're not really doing much because there's not a whole lot of flying going on because of the quarantining and everything. So they're really, really bored.
Yeah. So they're just there for health reasons. They're just trying to keep them safe and away from this. Like, they're fine. Let's not bring them into the mix.
Yes. Yeah. So they're very bored. I think it would make it easier if they were really busy, but I mean, their routine stays the same, but they're very bored over there.
Yeah. Send them home. Send them home.
You would think.
Well, so that kind of segues us into our first question, and I want to be fully transparent with everybody that's watching this or going to watch this, is that we tried this before, but my technology failed. So these questions might be redundant to us, but we had some great nuggets last time, and I know they'll be back. So speaking of routine and Ty's routine out there, how is having a routine, especially under these circumstances, been important for you? How have you kind of stayed on track, like accountability? And I know you do some journaling, so I'd love to talk about that a little bit. If you have a little time for that.
Yeah, I have time for whatever we need. So I'm pretty routine regardless of what's going on. I'm very type A, and I like to have things as I plan them throughout the day. But especially right now, I think that's been my biggest struggle with a lot of my clients is that they're either working from home, which they don't normally do, and they're trying to like work from their couches, and they don't really have a stop time, and they end up working until midnight, and then they don't have time to work out. And what I have been telling all of them is like, keep a routine as specific as possible. Like, try to wake up the same time every day. try to keep your normal work hours, your normal, like, hey, if you eat lunch at work from 12 to 12:30, do that same thing. If people want to, they can like pack their lunch and put it in the fridge and make sure that it's as like typical routine as possible. Gets a little dicey when there's kids involved, of course.
Yeah.
But I just try to tell people as much as possible to try to keep that routine as just as you normally would. If you exercise in the morning, try to get up in the morning and do that, even if it's something in your house, or if you exercise after work at 4:30, you take a 4:30 CrossFit class, work out at that same time. Our bodies absolutely love routine. So then when we get up in the morning and we're just like if you're going to a morning class, it takes some time, like when you started doing your 5 a.m., it takes some time to get used to it. But once you did, it was just like routine, right? That's what your body starts to wake up at the same time every day. Like I wake up 7:30 every day, even before my alarm goes off, just because I'm so used to it. So our bodies just really get into the habit of creating that routine. So it just makes things a little bit more habitual for you.
Yeah, it's muscle memory. Your brain's a muscle, so it's going to pick up on it. So I've really fallen off the wagon as far as waking up at 4 a.m. But I was doing the same thing. I wake up at 4:15 in the morning. My alarm would go at 4:15, but I'd be up at 4 o'clock wondering what time it was.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, okay, 15 more minutes. But that's completely crashed on me now. Oh. Now I'm like, if nothing else, I'm getting my sleep during this quarantine because I'm enjoying the sleep, which I didn't get before, which is also a health benefit. I'm feeling better because of it, but I know I'm gonna have to get back into that other routine again once the gym's open back up.
Yeah, it's gonna really challenge everybody's dedication, I guess.
Yeah, fortitude and dedication for sure. This whole thing is challenging dedication though, because I mean, I was working out 5-6 times a week, and I get out a lot. Like I do a lot of hiking, but I'm not sticking to that strength training every day, which is.
Well, and it's hard when you don't. It's hard when you don't have your own like your usual equipment. It's really easy for people to like get very complacent in. Oh, I'm used to be able to do squats every Wednesday, and now I can't do that, so I might as well just not do anything. We kind of get into that like all or nothing headspace, and so we don't adapt to change all that well for a lot of people. So it just becomes well, I can't do this, so I might as well not even try kind of situation. And it's hard to get yourself out of that headspace in the beginning, for sure.
Yeah, that all or nothing mentality is probably what I struggle with. And I've never thought of it that way. It's like I'm going to work out today, or I'll wait till Monday, or
and that's actually a really common thing, even with nutrition. Like people, how many times does it happen to where you do really well Monday through Friday afternoon, and then friends ask you to go, well, not right now, they're not, but if normal situation, your friends ask you to go out for dinner and drinks and stuff, and then you're sitting there thinking, well, I already messed up, so I might as well just start over on Monday. And then you continue to, go out Saturday and Sunday and just kind of eat whatever you want and not eat very mindfully. And then you just continue that cycle. And then before you know it, you're months in, you really haven't started your diet yet. So that all or nothing mindset is one of the biggest things that we focus on. Is just, you don't have to be perfect to make an okay decision. Just make like the next best choice, that's a really big struggle for a lot of people, is that all or nothing mindset, for sure.
Yeah. And you brought that up last time we spoke, and it was, you're not like, your programs aren't designed around what people should avoid, because it's almost like it's harder to avoid something than it's just to start eating the right stuff.
Well,
if you want a cookie, you're going to eat a cookie. You're not going to guilt shame yourself. You're not going to fat shame yourself. You're not going to food shame yourself because you ate a cookie.
Right. If I want a cookie, this is where a lot of people run into issues, is because they try to be they think that like they have to be perfect and you have to only eat rice and chicken and broccoli, and they, deprive themselves of what they normally eat. So they are like 100% in, or the all. And then if they mess up, that's where the nothing comes in. But they don't think about like, oh, if I want sugar, I'm just going to have a little bit right now so that I don't crave it so much later. Yeah. What happens so often is the restrict and binge part. So you do so well, like I said, Monday through Friday, and then the binging comes because you're so sick of eating the same dang thing and not having any chocolate or whatever it is that you actually enjoy eating. So then you just binge on it all weekend, and then the cycle continues. It's just a restrict and binge cycle that doesn't have to be like that. For me, if it's Monday night and I want a cookie, I'm going to eat it. I don't really care. But
yeah,
I mean,
you don't have to go an extra 20 minutes on the assault bike just because you ate it.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, the whole earn your calories thing, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Ugh. But we see that, like, especially for women all the time. Like, even if you go on Pinterest and you see, like, especially around the holidays, it's like, oh, one piece of pie is 100 burpees, and like that drives me crazy because first of all, it just literally doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot.
If that was the case, I would have to do 2,000 burpees a day, and I'm not doing
always.
That.
Yeah. Nobody wants to do that many burpees in a day.
So that brings us to another good point that we spoke about last time that you answered very well was, there's so many different people that have so many different, these diets and these fad diets that come out, and like, who do you believe? Why should you believe them? And like bare minimum, like what is out of all of that? If you don't want to do the keto or all those other diets, like what do you focus on?
So I really honestly probably don't pay as much attention to fad diets as I should, but I just don't, because they never last. I mean, that's why there's a reason why they're called fad diets. And I always just say keto because it's one of the most popular ones. It's got its time and place, but all of those diets, they focus so much on restriction and cutting something completely out. And usually when that happens, like I said, when we restrict, usually the end result is some kind of binge. So I mean, you hear this a lot with people. Again, I'm not trying to harp on keto, but I'm just going to use it as an example. They go on keto for so long and then they don't know how to get out of it. So then when they do decide that they want it, like it's keto's too restricting, they can't have any, pizza at friends' game nights or whatever it is. So they want to work their way out of it. They don't know how because they haven't learned anything about their nutrition. So they end up just eating a bunch of carbs again, and then all the weight comes back. So it doesn't have to be so restrictive and so cut something out. For some reason, we do a lot better when we have rules like that. And it just, sometimes it can be kind of ambiguous when we don't tell people to cut things out and they're like, wait, I'm allowed to eat carbs. I can have that. And it's like, people equate diet and nutrition with like cutting something out. And it doesn't have to be that difficult. So I don't even pay attention to fad diets, to be honest, because like I said, they all just usually make you cut something out, and I don't really want to do that. I like everything.
Yeah. I was on keto for a while, and it had its place in time. Like I was trying to lose weight, and I did it I think we did it for almost 6 months, and in that season, it was good for me. Like it worked for me, but then I got to, my mountain bike racing season where I was like, well, that's not sustainable. Like how do I feed for even a 50-mile race with no carbs? Like how many nuts can I put in my back pocket? Like I can't. I couldn't feed enough, so I just bonked, and it was
exactly. And that's
the thing, fun bonk. It's not like I worked too hard bonk. It's like I barely worked. I worked for a long time, but I was just
Well, and that's the thing that I've made a couple posts about this on my Instagram, but like I don't have anything against keto, and I always just say that because it's the most popular one. It's definitely got its time and place. And some people, they just genuinely enjoy it. So if you can stick with it and if you do it right and it works for you, then hell yeah, more power to you. Most people can't. That's the only reason why especially for performance athletes, it doesn't fuel you in the right way. So it's all about like your situation, what it's doing for you, if you enjoy it, if you feel restricted. There's a lot of like, if this, then this kind of situation with that. But you're absolutely right. It does I've known a lot of people that have had success with it. Although I've known a lot of people who haven't. So it just really depends.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that's temporary. It's not like I don't think I could have done that for a lifetime. I mean, it helped me eat better. Like it helped me be conscious of what I was eating and not just be like, whoa, 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 oh.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa. Like it made me think like, what's in this? I should be looking at stuff. But again, like you said, you don't have to necessarily restrict it. Maybe just, everything in moderation kind of a thing.
For sure. And one of the things that about keto that is nice is it takes away a lot of processed foods for people because
that's what I learned.
Usually a lot of carbs and a lot of processed foods are really heavy with carbs. So once you start taking that stuff out, like you said, you get a little bit more conscious of what you're eating, and you're like, oh well, I can't have carbs. You might not realize that it's like you shouldn't have the processed foods. Anyway,
Right.
there's a lot to that, but it does help people usually get away from the heavily processed stuff and eat more towards like the minimally processed whole foods. So that's kind of nice. That's a big win for it.
Yeah, it taught me, like, I mean, there's certain foods I had to avoid because of the carbs, but it taught me exactly what to eat first and then supplement with the other stuff. Like, so I brought carbs and stuff, but then I went, again, all or nothing.
Yeah. If you do it right, it can be really really beneficial, but it's hard to do it, especially if you're not like super versed in nutrition. It's hard to do it right. So if you got a coach and they kind of walk you through it, that's completely cool. But it's very hard to do correctly, for sure.
Yeah, we're not. It assumes that you're a professional nutritionist when you're not. So you watch 10 different people doing it, and you're like, well, I could do that, and then it takes so much time to get it down. And again, all or nothing. You mess up once, you got to start all over again. It's like, because the process itself is like, hey, you have to stop doing this to get into that ketosis. And not to talk about keto at all, but that's the thing. It's restriction. It gets you somewhere, but once you stop doing that, start from scratch again.
And so that's with fad diets in general, is it takes a pretty specific person to not have the all or nothing mindset and to have the discipline to know what they're doing correctly. Like a restriction in general, most people already have a pretty negative relationship with food, whether they realize it or not. I actually figured out, I read this book a while ago, and I figured out that I have an emotional reaction with food, and probably 99% of the people do. So usually when you pair that with that much restriction, it usually just doesn't bode very well. So yeah, that's what I've noticed.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's psychological, like so many other things.
For sure. Our
so
brain is way more important.
That and coaching, and not just going full bore into something without having some experience or some knowledge about it. Let's talk about how your programs work, and how do you, because I know you customize your programs for individuals. It's not like you're like, hey, everybody should do this, which is probably the best way to do it, because everybody's got their own physiology, not to mention their mental state. And so how do you prescribe programs for different clients, and what do you look for in each client to kind of know what their triggers are and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I have two different what I call levels of clients. I have a level 1 client who they typically end up being a little bit older. They don't really want to track their food very much. They don't want to get a food scale. They just want to learn how to eat better and feel better and be a little bit more healthy. I'll dive a little bit into that in a second, but my level 2s are usually people who they have a specific goal in mind, like weight loss, or weight gain for some people. They want to weigh their food. They want to help performance. They are okay with putting a little bit more time into it. My level 1s, we basically talk a lot about habit stuff, like the routine building, drinking water, getting enough sleep, a little bit of exercise throughout the week. Basically just not diving so much into like, hey, you need to eat this much protein and this much, this many carbs or whatever. We keep it very, very basic for these people. We do talk about, every meal should be very balanced with a protein, a carb, a fat, a vegetable. We dive a little bit more into that. But then whereas my level 2 clients, we give them a macro plan, which macros are protein, carbs, and fat. So I usually prescribe them a specific amount throughout the day. 150 grams of protein throughout the day. That's what I want you to eat. And they weigh their food with a food scale. They log it in an app, and we kind of go over, struggles that they have with that. Most people struggle with protein. So it's the first thing that comes to my mind. We talk about the struggles on that side, but we dive a lot into more than just food. Like I said, we talk about sleep, we talk about stress management, water intake, movement outside the gym, a lot of stuff psychologically that's kind of hard to put, into one little group, but we dive a lot into like emotional relationships with food and stuff like that. So I kind of have two ends of the spectrum with people, which works out pretty well.
And either level though, it's not like someone has to be. Do they have to go through level 1 to get to level 2, or are they just two different
No.
scales of their responsibilities?
Yeah, to be honest, most of the coaching stays the same, other than like, hey, I noticed you struggle getting protein here, let's do that. Or like level 2, we dive a lot more into that stuff, but a lot of the coaching style stays pretty similar because everybody pretty much has the same kinds of situations that we work through. There's no prerequisite. Like I think I told you this last time. Somebody asked me what like my niche was, or my niche, or however you say it, and I don't really have one because I have somebody who is an ultra runner. She's very competitive. I have her, and then I have I think she's 65 years old, just trying to get back on the health train of a little bit of exercise. Like we have kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, so there's not really like a prerequisite for people. And like I said, it's hard for me to pick my niche necessarily, because I feel like anybody can really benefit from a coach regardless of what your goals are. So yeah, I think that answers your question as far as there's no requirements.
You didn't have prerequisites, but we did come up with a niche. You had a requirement though, like people had to and talk about that a little bit, because that was really good.
Yeah, so especially for women, people have to be willing to eat food.
Okay.
The amount of people that come to me, and this is a little bit more of my level 2s, just because it's easier for me to see exactly how much they're eating. But I am amazed at how many people come to me and they are eating like 1,200 calories or less. And I don't know, like that's literally enough to feed like a teenager. So for an adult woman, and I just say women because that's what I deal with usually, but they have to be willing to eat food and nourish their bodies and get their bodies into a safe space before we even talk about any kind of weight loss. So that's a requirement. The other requirement is that they have to be okay with a little bit of a slower approach. This isn't one of those 21-day fix things. This is something that usually takes people, honestly, a little bit longer than they would like, but it lasts for a lot longer than the 21-day fix.
Like things that are going to last are going to take a little bit longer. Like habits.
Yes, exactly. And that's the biggest thing that I talk about with people. I want to make sure that before anybody signs up with me, they know 100% where I'm at as far as like, hey, if you're expecting to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, I'm probably not your coach, because
I'm not your wedding dress coach.
Yeah, like it's not sustainable. So we do a little bit of a slower approach, but it tends to last a lot longer for most people. So that's my other big requirement. And then the protein thing, most people undereat protein, so that's a big requirement for me too. And you have to be willing to eat some of that. It doesn't have to just be all meat if you're a vegetarian. I've had vegetarians too. So, but protein is one of the most undervalued macros that we have. So a lot of people don't eat very much of it just because no one likes to just sit there and eat a chicken breast, So they have to be willing to eat protein too. That's pretty much my only things.
So that, like, protein supplementally wise, like protein powders, protein shakes, protein bars, they claim to have the same, protein, whatever punch, or, I don't know what the actual, but it's nothing better than the real deal, right? Like, I mean.
Yes. Yeah. So with the protein powders, and they have a time and place, like post-workout, or if you're in a pinch and you just need something, like something's better than nothing. But protein powders and protein shakes, those are not meals. And that's why I can't stand when I see companies that have like a meal replacement shake. Yeah. Like, it's not the same thing. The bioavailability isn't the same thing. It's already broken down. So our body's not even having to do any work, which isn't really a great thing. It doesn't keep us full for very long because it is already broken down. So we don't absorb it the same way as we would with whole food. So the same thing as like those green supplements as you see. They're, yes, they're better than nothing, but eating whole foods is going to be a lot better for your body long-term than something like a shake or any kind of supplement is. And there's a reason why they're called supplements. Like people rely on those as like meals, and it's like, they're not called meal shakes, they're supplements. Like,
they're not replacements. They're like, you're supplementing your real food with this. Like, it's in addition to, not in replace of.
Yes, in addition, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So you know, what is your, so that, and I know you have, so like all good coaches, the best thing to be as a coach is teach people enough about what they need to do. So when you're no longer their coach, they can still maintain those habits and those routines and move along and grow with them and know what to look for and that stuff. And that's what you're obviously doing. So what are your major metrics? Like I talk to people and they're like, that just say start crossfitting or start riding bikes. And they're like, yeah, I'm not losing any weight. I'm not, this, that. I'm like, and my thing is, hey, just how do you feel? Like, like what's one of your metrics, especially with so many clients? Like, what do you look for specifically? Be like, okay, this is working, this is not working. Let's adjust, let's modify.
So I first of all, I love the fact that you said they won't need me in the future, because that's honestly one of the things that I tell people when I do a consult with them. I was like, my goal is for you not to need me. So that's why I don't do like a
not right away, but
yeah, like I need me right now, but but like I'm gonna kind of go off on a tangent here for a second. This is one of the main reasons why I don't like templates and like, hey, 8 o'clock, you're going to eat this much chicken, this much broccoli, this much rice, because what happens if you get into a situation where that's not available? And if you don't learn anything about it, you're going to be like, oh crap, I got to call my coach before I can eat. And that's just not a way to live. So love that you said that, first of all. As far as metrics, I actually have a lot of my clients just put their scale completely away.
Like their body scale.
Yeah, body scale. Yes. There's very few of them that can get on the scale, maybe not like what they see and just be okay with it. So I put that away for a lot of my, probably like 95% of my clients. They don't actually weigh themselves. So what I look for mainly, like you said, is how you feel. What's your sleep like? Like, are you sleeping more and better at night and falling asleep easier? What's your mental clarity like? Are you able to, what's your energy out like throughout the day? A lot of people, they're just like, holy crap, I feel so energetic. I never knew how lethargic I was before. If you're looking at like body composition measures, how your clothes fitting is a big one. But the scale is so subjective that's main reason why we put that away. The how you feel thing is huge. Are you liking the way that your body feels like just walking around? Are you feeling more confident? What's your relationship with food like? Is it improving? Are you able to eat a cookie on a Monday night and not feel guilty about it? That's a big one. There's so many things that are not weight related that we can dive into, but those are the main things: how you're feeling about yourself, about your food, about your day, stuff like that. Mood is a big one.
Yeah, scales are so subjective, objective, one of the two. That because especially if you're training someone to go from eating nothing to eating a little more, they're gonna put, at first they're gonna put on a little weight until their body figures out how to work within that parameter and burn that off. So your body's got to change too. Your body's not gonna be like, oh, she's putting food in good. That's gonna take some time for your body to get used to how to burn that effectively.
Right. And that's a whole different topic that would take us a long time to go into, but it's called reverse dieting. It's actually like, if I had to say there was like a trend catching on right now, that is one of them, but I'm okay with it. So when I do get people to eat more, I don't just slam them with 500 extra calories a day, right? I try to build them up as slow as possible so we can like minimize weight gain, but still getting them to eat more food. But yeah, if you're eating more than you normally do, the chances that your body is going to gain weight is pretty high. But for most people, it's not very much. And I try to just get people to understand what our process is. I say, look, our goal right now is not to lose weight. Our goal right now is to get you to eat more food, and a little bit of weight gain might come with that. So that's where I really try to get people to put the scale away and focus on how weight doesn't mean you're a less person, and
great point.
Yeah.
My goal is let's teach you how to eat right first before we get into that other stuff.
Yes. There's so much more to health and nutrition than just what your weight is. And that's a big thing. It's a big stigma, I guess is maybe the right word. Most people think that like health and nutrition equals dieting to lose weight. And that's just not the case. Doesn't happen.
That is a thing. That's like me. I'm like, oh, 185, that's my fighting weight. So if I know I'm gonna be over that. That was my fighting weight at 27 years old, 26 years old. Now I'm in my late 40s or almost 50, whatever. So
who's counting?
So now I'm at that point where I'm like, all right, my fighting weight may not be 185 anymore. It might be like 194, but like again, it could be 210 for all I know. How do I know? You know,
Right.
but it's how do I feel? How do I look? How do I feel about how I look? Yeah. Am I not eating enough to where I'm binging at midnight, eating a whole roll of Oreo cookies? Hypothetically, of
course.
So, yeah, those are the things that are important to me now. It's like, all right, how do I feel? Am I getting out of bed like cricket? Can I just get out of bed? Am I late? Well, nowadays I just lay around, but on a normal life day, can I just get out of bed and get right at it? Or do I need 10 cups of coffee? That kind of thing.
Exactly. And yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. It's about how you're feeling and like, you know, what worked for you previously. I have this a lot with moms. They're like, oh, I want to get back to my pre-baby weight. And I'm like, you just pushed a human out of your like, you're not going to be the same as you were back then.
Right. Your body's not the same.
Yeah, we're not supposed to, you know, and that's a whole psychology thing, and that does take a lot of time. But yeah, you nailed it. Like, your fighting weight is probably not the same as it was back then, but neither are you, you know, neither is your body. So it's okay to have those adjustments. If you feel good at 194 versus back then you may have felt good at 185, like, who cares?
Yeah, and in the big scheme of things, I was 230 at one point, and I was like, this doesn't feel good. Yeah. I don't like how I look. I don't feel good. I could sleep all day, and I need to eat all day. And I was like, I don't like it. So then that's when I started doing other things and slowly got back down to it. I mean, it took a while. Like, I was stuck in that range for a while, and if I didn't have as much, if I didn't have the why I was really after, which is what something you brought up last time, if I didn't have that why set in stone, I would have just said, all right, this is too hard. I'm going back. I'm going the easy again.
And that's kind of going off of like one of the biggest struggles that we're having during this quarantine is, you know, a lot of people are struggling with motivation. And I always just say, like, motivation is bullshit. Like, to be honest, it's just a feeling. Feelings are so temporary, but like something that doesn't change or shouldn't change is your why. Like you said, it sounds so cliche, but like, it's true. Like, if you have a goal in mind, and everybody's goals are different. Somebody, like, we want to feel good when we work out. Some people, they want to be able to pick their kids up or their grandkids up when they go play. Like, everybody's why is so different, but as long as it is very concrete and it's very like, this is exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing, it's a lot easier to push through those days where you don't feel like doing anything. Motivation is an emotion. It's a feeling, and feelings change like the wind. So, but that discipline does not. So that's why having a deep-seated why is so important. I've had some clients that they're like, I want to do this because my wife wants me to. It's like, well, that's not like, that's great that you want to make her happy, you know, but you're not gonna succeed with that because you don't want to. Like, it's not your thing. So most people, like, if you need to start somewhere, pick why you want to do it, and like a real why, not because you want to look good to anybody, like whatever it is, like pick that for you and allow that to think about that when you're sitting on the couch and you don't want to do anything, or laying in bed in the morning and you don't want to get up. Like, that needs to be your main motivator, which is kind of funny because I hate the word motivation, but
it's what inspires you. It's your purpose.
Yes.
It's personalized to you. It is the reason why you do anything. I mean, and a lot of time, like they say, and I've read that, and I believe it, is that what you do in one aspect of your life, you do in all aspects of your life. So for a lot of people, that why is probably the same for everything. Why do I want to sustain a financial future where I'm comfortable? Why do I want to be in shape? And usually that why is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to be able to eat, live long and healthy, play with my kids when I'm 75, you know, whatever, have kids when I'm 6. It doesn't matter what it is. It's personalized. It's your purpose. It's why do you want to do it? And it usually revolves around the same thing.
Yeah. The only requirement for it is that it's just got to be strong and it's got to be true.
Yeah. Your why's got to be stronger than your excuses.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. You're full of good.
Yeah. I did a lot of reading this week. I'm just kidding. But that brings us into mindset and the whole theory of mindset. And I'm a big proponent of, listen, I'm not the strongest. I'm not the fastest. I'm not the healthiest. I'm not the biggest. But one thing I do have over a lot of people is that I find that my mindset is my leading factor. It's like it's usually the thing that's up front and everything else. Like, I can look at a weight and say, no, but I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to try it, and I'm going to try it. Like, I for sure proven that I can. And that's my mindset. How important do you think that is with nutrition, your programs, and fitness in general, and just
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I'm going to try to keep this as concise as possible because we could dive into mindset for hours. But something that I've been talking a lot lately with my clients is like a fixed mindset and versus a growth mindset. So the fixed mindset is that like, this is where I'm at. This, like, my genetics won't let me improve. Which just sucks. I can't do this. Like, very almost like negative, and it is what it is kind of situation. Whereas like the growth mindset is like, okay, I know I'm going to have some challenges. I know that I'm out of shape and it's going to take a second to get back into shape, but I'm like excited to get going or whatever it is. Just always knowing that you're not stuck any one place and you can literally go anywhere you want to. Again, it's going to be another cliche, but you can literally do whatever you want depending on what your mindset is. Somebody who's in the exact same situation as me, for example, if they were to have a very negative, and everybody goes into that fixed mindset every once in a while, but if you get stuck into that, like, I can't do this, I'm not supposed to be able to do this, like, who am I to do this? It's a confidence thing a lot of times.
Yeah.
Like,
people don't deserve to be able to do this.
Yeah, I'm just, a little girl from northern Michigan. Who am I to do that? And whereas somebody who has that go-getter, like, fixed or growth mindset, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm from northern Michigan. I can't wait to make everybody proud. You know what I mean? Like, and
it's two different sides of the story. I mean, it's two glass ceilings. Like you can hit that glass ceiling all day long, but then there's those people that are just like, what ceiling?
Yeah, they're just like, okay, well, yeah, this is a new struggle, but I'm going to figure out how to make it work. And those are the successful people. And that can be like, I gave a really, powerful example right there, but like, it can be for anything. Like, you can make that as small as you want. But the big thing that I always tell people is, instead of having the who am I to do this, be like, why not me? Why can't I do that? Like, there's no reason why I can't. So mindset is 99% of people's driving force most of the time. Like you said, it's like the front runner of most of the things that you do. So if you can kind of master, at least progress in that area, you're gonna find success in a lot of things.
Yeah, in all things, actually. I mean, it really is going to be your driver for all the things you do in life, and it's not something that you're born with. It's not something that you just you find. You actually have to work on it.
Yep.
It's like your mind is a muscle. That's a muscle you have to work on, and the best way to work on it is just to always find a solution.
Right.
Excuse, like always, like that's what I tell people. Like originally, even people that I work with, and that, hey, be a critical thinker, be solution oriented, and that usually gets you to stop being like pointing fingers and you're responsible. Come up with a solution. It's whatever happened. It happened because of you. It didn't happen to you. It's happening for you.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I love that. I always tell people that all the time, is like, it's not happening to you. Like, figure out what this is doing for you. And I was just going to say something, but I completely forgot. Oh no, like you said, pointing the finger, and the best way to think about a growth or a fixed mindset is like the victim mentality. Like, this happened to me, this sucks, like, why me, blah blah blah. Like, that victim mentality is the closest thing to a fixed mindset as you can figure out. Whereas, like you said, finding a solution, that's going to be your growth mindset. There's always a way to get out of something.
Yeah. And that's kind of a struggle with a lot of people right now. It's like, oh, I'm in this situation, I'm stuck in my house all day, I'm screwed, what am I going to do? I'm just bored. I can't do anything. I'm like, learn a new skill, go help somebody else. I mean, find something. But if
and the thing that I actually just had this conversation with a client, like, how often we are in such a time of our lives where we're so go all the time. How often do we actually just sit and like slow down, you know what I mean? Like, we focus so much on progressing all the time that it's okay to just sit back and just like be, you know what I mean? Like, be present in where you're at, and allow this to like really ground you back. And like I said, slow down. Everybody's in the same position right now, which makes it easier. Like, it's not like somebody's progressing, but we never allow ourselves to slow down a little bit. And this is like almost like the slap in the face that we needed. Like, okay, we needed this time to chill out, be home with our families, like, take advantage of it. There are some people that don't get to spend time with their families right now. So
Yeah, right.
Enjoy it while I have it.
Yeah, case in point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just like you have to just find out what's true, and then this is a great time to figure out your why and your purpose, and take this time to actually be able to just sit down before it's all, because it will be over.
Yeah,
you know, we will be back to normal, and you'll be back to your life where you're just like, oh shit, I forgot why I was doing it. This is your time to find why you're doing things. What is your purpose? What's important to you? What is the most important thing to you? It's not your job. It's not, chasing the dollar around. It's, maybe it's just your family and sitting home and being healthy and, having that extra hour at night with your kids.
Right. Yeah. There was a quote that I saw a couple weeks ago, and it was something like, in the rush to get back to normal, like decide what's worth it, or whatever it is, like what normal is worth it, or I don't know the quote exactly, but I saw that.
What normal is.
Yeah, like what normal is worth getting back to, and I saw that and I was like, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's not our normal. Like maybe this is our normal. Yeah. Like somebody else came up with the new normal, like what their normal was, but maybe chilling, hanging out, and just who knows? Who knows? So let's. I know we're kind of getting a little long for people to mind their attention span. Although I'm having, I love this, but.
We could talk for hours.
Yeah, I know. We should. So moving more into this, so how do people get in touch with you? Who's your ideal client? Not like who are you finding are coming to you more? Like what kind of person should be looking for your kind of information and your coaching? And I know everyone needs a coach, like in everything. I mean, we should have why we try to reinvent the wheel is beyond me. Like if someone else knows how to do something, let them teach you. Right. So who do you look for, and who's most successful? Like what kind of mindset do they need? That kind of stuff, and how do they get in touch with you? And
so really the only thing, like I kind of went through my requirements earlier, but like the best person to work with me is the person who understands that it's not going to be a quick thing, and that they truly want to make a lifestyle change. They want to learn about their bodies and nutrition. They want to understand like that, like the all or nothing mindset, like we talked about, like stuff like that. They understand that it's going to be a little bit longer, but it's going to be lasting, and they really want to make improvements to their overall health. That's the main person or the main people that have success with me, is when they really embrace the process of what we're doing. As far as how to get a hold of me, you can find me on Facebook, NS Nutrition. You can go on Instagram. I think it's NS_nutrition coaching. My website, nsnutritioncoaching.com. I'm kind of all over the place. So I do DMs on Instagram, personal messages on Facebook, like emails on my website, whatever it is. But yeah, as long as you're willing to work and trust the process and not hope to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, we're good. We're going.
Trust the process. That's a great term.
Yeah.
That we should. So what is the NS in NS Nutrition?
Never settle. My husband actually came up with it a couple years ago.
That's awesome. And this is both you and Ty both do this, or is this just you, or?
I do the coaching. He does a lot more of like he's made our workout programs, like our quick fit, our squat program, stuff like that. He's done the website design. He does a lot of the back end things.
You're the face.
What's that?
You're the face.
I'm the face. Yeah. Which he loves, because then he can just blame me if something.
Yeah.
But it's both of us. Like I said, he came up with the name, and he's the one who kind of pushed me to do it, but I do the coaching mainly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what you offer is not just here's a set diet to go through. You offer, education. Yeah. You offer coaching, mindset training. I mean, there's a lot. It's not just, hey, eat this.
Yes.
Which is what most people think. It's just like, hey, just eat this. Just tell me what to do. But it's not. It's tell me. It's show me what. It's just, again, routines and habits and so much clear. Like I guess
that goes into like the client that I'm looking for. I want you to be able to learn, and like you said before, not need me eventually. Like I want you to go to a barbecue and understand, okay, my plate, I should look for protein, I should look for vegetables, I should look for this, like what, and then also, the mind, like you said, the mindset training, which again, we could talk about that forever, but understanding that it's okay to not be perfect, and that you don't need to always be looking to lose weight to be healthy, and stuff like that. So yeah, like you said, the education is huge. My clients get an email once a week about, how to read food labels, and what kind of vegetables we should be looking for, raw versus cooked, and whatever it is. Like each week they get an email, some kind of education for it. So then hopefully they can take that to any situation that they go to, any, party or wedding or whatever it is.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's not just about food. It's like, I'll go to a barbecue and be like, well, screw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm walking around like this. I'm like, holding a cup in my mouth. So
yeah.
It's true. You have to learn in every situation, and that's like travel. Like I travel a lot for work. I'm like, do I have McDonald's and grab a burger? It's only one time. Or like, oh, what's a better burger? Culver's is a better burger. It's all crap.
Yeah.
Or do I make a little food the day before and just pick it? So it's just understanding that a fast solution isn't always the right solution.
Oh, well, yeah. It pretty much never is the right solution.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, it can't. There's time and place where it can be, but yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Shelby, I love having these talks, and I hope we can have them much more often. I was able to record this one, so
yay!
So technology hopefully works, because these are wonderful, and I'm sure so many people want to watch these.
Hopefully.
I'm going to put these out, and if you had any last final thoughts on, like, if somebody's even thinking about, like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, I should start, thinking about a coach. Like, some people worry about I'm not going to ask you how much your coaching programs are or anything like that, because that's between you and your
website. Yep.
Yeah, but some people are like, it's, again, with the excuses. It's unaffordable. Like, hey, we're going through a tough time right now. Like, but in the long run, like, I see it working out, because you're eating better is usually not that much more expensive. It's actually a lot less expensive than eating all that garbage that people are like, oh, packaging. You're paying for packaging. So anything to say to anybody last minute, kind of.
So
if you're worried about things, just your thing.
Yeah. Two things. The financial side is what I like to look at it as: you are investing now to not have to go to have medical bills later. The more you invest in yourself and your health now, the less you're going to have to pay in prescriptions and doctor's visits later, hopefully. So if people think of that financial side of things, hopefully that helps a little bit. As far as like, if you just don't be afraid to ask for help. So many people, they get embarrassed because they think I should know how to do this. I've been eating my whole life. Like, there's so much out there. There's so much out there in society that it's really easy to get overwhelmed. So don't be embarrassed or too proud or afraid to ask somebody to help you, because it's a small investment, in my mind, a small investment that pays huge dividends later. So just don't be afraid to ask for help with anything, really.
We know, because we've done for so long, but we've just been doing it wrong for so long. Doesn't mean
just because you eat doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Look how many people drive.
Yeah.
Don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Well, we all miss you. We love you. And I'm hoping I get home soon. Again, thank you for your patience for his service, and thank him for his service.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And hopefully we all get to work out and eat and have a drink somewhere real soon.
Hopefully we'll get back to Michigan shortly.
Yeah, I can't wait.
But
thanks for and we'll do this again real soon. And I'll put all of your information in the show notes somewhere on this page, or wherever this video ends up. I'll put all your contact information, and hopefully people realize that they should come see you, because you're more than just a recipe planner.
Well, I appreciate that very much. It's been fun.
Bye, Shel. Thank you.
See ya.